Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial. This is a real estate update here across the country and in your town. I'm Mark Imperial. This segment's being brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where professionals publish to grow their business and leave a legacy. Joining me on the call today is Dave Fanale. He's a real estate coach with Real Estate Skill Builder based out of northern New Jersey, just outside of Manhattan. Dave, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Dave, tell me a little bit about your business and the type of folks that you help.
Well, basically I'm a real estate coach. I've been involved in real estate since, I hate to admit how long, since 1976, actually, and full-time in 1980. As a project manager, building manager, property manager, et cetera. Fast forward, I owned a brokerage for 21 years and gained all my coaching knowledge and experience there through attempting to help agents grow their businesses, right? So real estate coaching today is a lot different than it's been over the years, where it's kind of searching for its own little hole now, because there's so many coaches now, and it's a great industry, right? I mean, it's a really needed industry because people are realizing they actually need the help. So basically what I try to do is take agents from either being new and getting them into production, or getting someone that's stuck and getting them unstuck and getting over that hill, so to speak.
Tell me a little bit about the industry right now, because as we record this, we're clearly in the middle of a pandemic. How do you see the industry today? Is real estate, where does it fit in the puzzle? How important is it? And where do you see the future of real estate agents today?
Well, as you're gonna find out, I'm a little bit different than most. I mean, I believe in being different. I believe in looking at things a little differently, and I actually call part of my program the art of differentiation. But here's where everything changes. I mean, things have been changing very, very slowly over the past several years. We've seen, as I said, a lot more coaches getting into the real estate coaching and the real estate business changing. You've been seeing newer agents getting in and crushing it right away, and you still see a lot of agents still failing after a couple of years. Why is that? Well, the attitude has changed. The attitude has changed dramatically, where we used to have an 80-20, now it's 90-10 of new people getting in and succeeding. Why? It's the reason why. It's their business now. People are getting into it as a business at a younger age, and they're actually seeing what they need to do and actually listening and learning. The agents that do not make it, the agents that do not present an issue for these other newer agents, are the ones that are not focusing on it as a business. They're looking at it like, oh, you know what, maybe I'll sell a few homes, or it seems pretty good to get in. I can set my own schedule. I can make as much money as I want. And that is honestly a lot of crap, simply because when you say that, you have no direction, you have no vision, you have no mission. And how can you have any values if you're doing that as a real estate agent, right? So moving forward, what's changing is not only the agent, but because that agent is changing and looking for more easy ways, that's why the advent of teams has happened. Because an agent that needs a team is not in production, right? They hope to get in production. They will never lose that employee mindset to that entrepreneur mindset. So the difference between successful agents and okay agents is the investor, entrepreneur, employee mindset. As far as coaching is concerned, we've been coaching, I take that back. There have been coaches coaching the same way for years and years and years. As we moved into, and we hopefully start getting out of this pandemic situation, not only is the business of real estate agents changing and the model is changing, but the same things can be said for coaching. Honestly, Mark, I believe that the real estate business model of bricks and mortar, but can still work, and how it's being done is broken. I believe that the coaching model is broken. It's time to change it all. It's time to do things differently.
Dave, what is a big misconception about real estate agents today? I know there's a lot floating out around there, but folks that may be considering or thinking about getting into real estate and becoming an agent, what are the misconceptions that they're hearing?
The misconceptions right away off the top of my head are that it's easy. Okay. Now, they're going to see people working a business and doing really, really well. But what they missed was all the hard work. They missed all the agony and stuff in the first 2, 3, 4 years of building that business. They also missed the 80 hours a week that they're studying in the beginning to learn how to do stuff. They also don't have the knowledge or the capacity to understand that when something's really working, you have two choices. You can wait for it to not work, or you can break it down and build it up again to keep building. That's how corporations, let's look at Zillow. That's how Zillow has built their business. And everybody's wondering why Zillow is going to start opening offices. Nobody saw that coming. Everybody worried about it, but no one did anything about it. That's why our model is broken. And agents are looking at getting into the business for the same reason. They've got this lottery idea that they can make a lot of money without working hard.
So I've heard before that it actually takes a long time before you could even close your first deal. What would you say about that? And what do you recommend be like the fastest track to getting in the business and making your first deal? And after all, you got to pay the bills. How do you do that?
Number one, you need to get into the mindset that you're going to work right away. And all these, and see, this is part of the model that's broken, is these, look, I might insult some people on this program, and I'm just going to go through it right now. There's a lot of brokers out there that are idiots. And when they start telling their people, their new agents, that they're not going to see a check for 90 to 180 days, someone needs to slap them, okay? Because what they're doing is they're setting the wrong expectations. First of all, they're saying it's okay not to work and it's okay not to get a check. It's never okay not to work. It's never okay not to get a check. Now, if you're going after it for the money, I'm going to say 95% of you are going to fail, right? If you're going after it for the right reasons, to be that person, to be that information source, then you're going to win. There are so many ways to get business quickly. It's a matter of a lot of people say, well, do rentals, right? Okay, right. You got to do an awful lot of rentals to make a good amount of money. But there are methods. There are methods to use of making calls, of prospecting that can get you business quicker than most. I've seen agents do 3, 4 transactions in their first month. I work with agents on a regular basis that are getting 4 appointments a day, right? And these are some new agents. Now, I said earlier that there's younger agents getting into the business. I work with agents that are 19, 20, 23, and they're all getting business. The hard part is that when as coaches and as brokers, we tell people, you will work with the people you know. Well, at 19 years old, 23 years old, you don't know a lot of people that got all that money to buy a house. So now you have to build your sphere. So now that comes secondary until you build up your following. The right way to get involved in getting business quicker is to pick up this thing. It's also called a phone, right? You can't have call avoidance. You have to pick up the phone. Well, I don't like to make calls. I don't like to use scripts. I don't want to sound scripted. Nobody told you to sound scripted. I told you to make calls.
Right on. Dave, let's talk about somebody that's super serious, they're ambitious, and they want to become a real estate agent. They want to get started and they want to, not be lazy. They really want to build a business. What's the biggest mistake you see somebody make when they get started, even if they have the best intentions?
The biggest mistake that I see in both new agents, and there's two mistakes in new agents and in experienced agents that are stuck. The number one mistake is they talk to experienced agents. That's the number one mistake. I know it sounds crazy, right? Talk to the people that are in the business. The majority, I used the phrase 80-10, 80-20, 90-10 before. The reason those 80% aren't making money is they're doing things that don't work. And the newer agents are looking at what they're doing and copying them, right? So that's the number one thing that they're doing incorrectly. The second thing, and just as important as there's a lot of people out there that call themselves perfectionists and they got to do things just right. These people are stuck in this syndrome called getting ready to get ready, right? And they want to make things perfect. Well, it's not ready yet. I don't like the way it looks, right? And they're also the ones that will look at a system and have to tweak something or have to test it here and test it there. Don't test, go out and make a mess, right? Go out and make mistakes. Go out and, Just don't worry about what you look like, because look at it this way, Mark. It's really important that agents and new agents need to look at. They're afraid to make calls. Why? Because they're going to get rejection. They're afraid to be aggressive on the phone or aggressive in their marketing, because why? Because they don't want to be rejected. You know what? These people don't know what you look like. They don't know who you are when you're calling them, right? If you make a mistake, make a mistake. It's just like video, okay? People say, well, I don't want to use video. I don't like the way I look. I can't do it perfectly. Look, number one, if you don't like the way you look, you don't like the way you sound, that's the way you look, that's the way you sound, get over it. As far as making mistakes in a video, as far as making mistakes on the phone, you've got to learn somehow, and this is the best way to learn. And remember, when it comes to video and real estate, the imperfection is the connection.
That's sage advice right there. I could totally connect with you, because a lot of people don't realize that. Just like, I like the way you put it. That's the way you look. That's the way you sound. That's the way you are, whether you like it or not, and whether you're on film or not. So Dave, you know a ton. You have a lot of information to share. How did you get started in real estate, and what inspired you to get into real estate and become a coach?
Well, how I got into real estate, what inspired me to become a coach, are completely two different things. Well, almost the same. When I was in college, my dad, I'm the youngest of 8 kids. My dad was a dentist, and I had two of my brothers became doctors, and he wanted me to become a dentist. Honestly, Mark, I really didn't want to put my hand in anybody's mouth, so I decided, okay, so he was also a big real estate investor, real estate developer, because that was his hobby. I figured, okay, so what's the lesser of two evils? And that's real estate. Let me see what I can do in college. So I went to Rutgers University in New Brunswick, New Jersey, and they had an urban planning program, which is, we all know, city planning, urban planning. So I got involved in that. I really liked it. It was a lot of fun. When I got out of school, I didn't have a job. And my dad was building a 40-unit project, so I got to do that. I learned building, construction, management from the ground up, literally from under the ground up. I did all the dirty jobs, all the filthy jobs, all the jobs that no one else would do. No one else you could hire to do these stupid little jobs, because you just couldn't find anybody. I was the gopher. I was the cleaner. I did it all. That's what got me involved in actually building, which is one of the most favorite things that I love to do, is build houses, renovate houses. And then as time went on, there was an opportunity to get involved in a brokerage. I did that. I bought a brokerage that was a tenant of ours. And 21 years later, I decided that I needed to walk away for a lot of reasons. But the most important reason I walked away was because I wanted to work with people that wanted to work. Look, you used the word lazy. I didn't, as far as agents are concerned. If I had 60 agents, I had 10 that worked. The rest either weren't showing up, they were part-time, they're hanging their license. And it was just, when you work with someone for an hour or 2 hours one day, and they come back the next week and they didn't do any of the work you agreed to do, it's kind of frustrating, especially when your income depends on what they're going to do. I couldn't do it for them, right? And I was building a lot of different things. I mean, I've called myself very innovative. I've always wanted to stay on top of things. My company had a cloud 10 years before anybody knew what a cloud was, right? They thought it was that white thing in the sky. So I got into coaching as I was coaching on a regular basis in my brokerage. But as I walked away from my business, my brokerage, I decided that, you know what? I love helping people. I love the feeling when someone walked into my office and said, "It worked, Dave, it worked." And I figured I could multiply that and get that a lot more selfishly to make me feel good. But I knew that I was helping people. So I've always said that I wanted to make a difference, but actually I want to be the difference in people's lives. And that's why I got the name Real Estate Skill Builder, because I want to build skills. You see, there's training and there's coaching. Training teaches skills, coaching enhances skills. But one of the things we're missing is the trainer that's with you on a day-to-day basis to build a bridge from the training to the coaching. I basically am a bridge builder to the coaching to get you where you need to be and get you over that hill.
Dave, for the folks listening now that resonate with what you're saying and they're considering becoming a real estate agent, tell our listeners what specifically you'll help them with. Should they join up with you before they get their license or their training, or after? Essentially, what do you have to offer, and how do they get a hold of you?
Well, they get a hold of me very simply. They can look me up, Dave Fanale, anywhere, and Google me and find me anywhere. But mostly on Facebook. My contact information is there. A big mistake that most agents make is they don't put their phone number or their email address on their profiles anywhere on social. How do they expect people to find them? I don't know. But one of the things that agents must do is they must be ready to do the work, and they must work on doing basically what most agents refuse to do, and not listen or watch or emulate what the ones that aren't making it do. Like I said before, there's two reasons why new agents don't make it, or stuck agents don't make it, is they're always wanting to do what others want to do rather than doing what others don't want to do and refuse to do, because that's the art of differentiation. That's as much as doing video, that's as much as building your social media channels across the board. Now, I'm not saying use every social media channel on a regular basis, because that's really hard. It's a lot of time, but get really good at one. And when you decide that, you do that moving forward. You need to have several pillars of business. And in my program, we work on 4 pieces. We work on the art of differentiation, right? Which is doing things what others agents won't do. Number 2, we work on the basic 7 pillars of business. And they are sphere of influence, for sale by owners, expireds, withdrawals, social media, circle prospecting, and open houses. We work on those 7 pillars of business. But what we're also doing in the art of differentiation is we're building you a monthly, weekly, and daily ritual. People can say routine. I don't care for that word, simply because it sounds like routine is, okay, well, when I get home, I put my keys in a bucket and I go and do whatever I do. That's routine. Ritual is something that's intentional and that you do every day, whether it's meditation, whether it's getting ready for the day, whatever it is. But we teach that ritual simply because we want to build a footing for your business. A footing is much different than a foundation. Everybody says you need a strong foundation. I don't care how strong your foundation is. If your footing isn't solid, because that's how you build a house. You start with a footing and then the foundation. The whole thing's going to fall. After that, we discuss of being prepared. Preparedness is the most important thing you need to do in what to say and how to say it. Because remember, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And lastly, in the world that we've grown into, something I've been teaching for 6 years and couldn't get a real buy-in, is working in the virtual world, right? So the last piece is having a real virtual presence out there where people know they can come to you and do it. As I said earlier, the coaching model is broken. What I do in my 4 pieces of Real Estate Skill Builder is I build around what you already may know or what you already know, and try to get you to have a different outlook on where you got to go with it. And that's basically how we do it.
Dave, this has been absolutely fantastic. Sage advice. I can assure you a lot of people that listen to this are going to reach out to you. I wish you continued success. Thank you so much for sharing with my listeners. I wish you continued success for you and for all of your clients. Thank you so much. One thing everybody can always go find out a lot more about me and what I got to offer at realestateskillbuilder.com. This segment's been brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where professionals and entrepreneurs go and publish to grow their business and to leave a legacy. That's all for now. Join me on my next Expert Spotlight. I'm Mark Imperial. Take care.